The following podcast contains spoilers.
This is the Bunzarelli Show.
My name is Joe. Of course, I got Khiim here. Khiim, how you doing, bud?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good. Khiim, I tell you something. I'm glad you're here because since we've started covering Obi-Wan, we haven't had your point of view, and of course, you and me have had our history with Obi-Wan, Anakin, Darth Vader, and everything.
Yeah, this is something we pound out all day.
Yeah, so I'm very curious of how you're feeling about this show. You grew up with the prequels. You know obviously the original trilogy and everything after. So how, general, what's your response to this show?
My first initial response is I'm just glad it's something that's being addressed because it's something that both your generation of Star Wars fans and my generation of Star Wars fans have always wanted to know or see what was going on in that in between time for Kenobi.
Yeah.
So it's something I'm glad that they're taking the initiative to do.
I think it's adding to, it's better for them than going straight from episode 3 to A New Hope.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of air that needs to be cleared.
Yeah.
So it kind of fits. I noticed something this episode that when it first opened up and Obi-Wan is just in the back of the tank.
Yeah.
And he's kind of going over the incidents in his head and he's kind of struggling.
Yeah.
And then I watching it again, I noticed something because they show like the parallel of him and Vader. And what I didn't catch the first time and I caught the second one was you see Vader kind of struggling with their meeting again.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's so much like, oh, I feel bad, oh, my buddy. I think it's just this Obi-Wan thing that was the turning point for both of them that put them where they were. So I think that's I'm not saying that, I don't think the good is peeking out of him. I think it's more of the it's a big deal for Vader.
Yeah, there's a lot of turmoil there. Something that he hasn't settled from that fight either.
Yeah.
Because
they used to say, like they said in Rogue One, Rogue One is still 10 years later, at least. So they say, oh, the cool Vader. But this is kind of a younger Vader.
Yeah.
And so he's, Hayden had said, in interviews and stuff, this Vader's feeling himself out. And I'm thinking, I'm starting to see it now.
Yeah,
it's an angrier Vader. It's like when he raised his voice to jump ahead at Reva, and he was walking down the hall.
Yeah,
that's the first time I've heard Vader raise his voice.
Yeah, I agree,
and not sound calm.
Yeah, you're still seeing remnants of angry Anakin within Vader. Right now, it's angry Anakin becoming Vader,
and you could believe it's the Anakin from Episode 3 in that suit.
Definitely,
people have said it before. They're like. Somebody said it when the Ahsoka Vader confrontation. They're like, oh, that's the first time I made the connection of Vader and Anakin. And I think cinematic wise, this is doing the same thing. I see Anakin and I see Vader at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't think he's out of character for Vader. I haven't seen him do anything Vader wouldn't do or say.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And they're probably being very careful with him too.
And just hearing that voice back again and everything and all that, I was just like, wow, okay, they're pulling this off right now.
Yeah, I think they digitally enhanced it a little bit. Because
did they upgrade the suit a bit too? I think they made a few slight changes on his waistline. I don't remember him having, he has the apparatus on his chest.
Yeah.
I don't remember him having apparatus on his belt that also had glowing buttons and stuff.
I think they did a lot of shots to make him look cool. There was a lot of dark shots that stuff contrasted.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Sometimes something could have been light green in the show and just been a green little lens.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're making it glow and brighter. Kind of
Okay, yeah.
Like in A New Hope, there's one shot at one angle where something reflected in his eyes.
Yeah.
And his eyes looked a tinge red. Mm-hmm. So they just rode with that. And then in Rogue One, his eyes were almost completely red.
Yeah.
People took liberties to accentuate some stuff. I don't know. I don't think it's the same suit. It doesn't look like the suit from Episode 3.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And I don't know if it's the suit from Rogue One, if they custom put a new one together or how they did it, but it's a very good. It looks like a New Hope Vader, but accentuating some lighting and stuff, some different features.
Yeah.
But it
looks good.
Yeah, it looks good, and I could picture it. Now, I don't know how much Hayden's in it acting as it, but it's I feel like Hayden's in there.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why I think he's saying the lines with James Earl Jones saying it, but also James Earl Jones's voice I think they digitally helped it out a little bit. Because in Rogue One, it sounded a little. You could hear the age in a little bit, which you can't fight that. But he
but
sounded
this definitely
good.
sounds like
And it sounds like, but when he says certain things, like I said, I could picture Hayden yelling those things. Like, I warned you. I could picture Anakin saying that.
Exactly.
It's cool. It makes that transition.
So this puts us into a really like strange time period, especially since we're expanding on Obi-Wan, because if we're taking the canon from the Clone Wars, is this not the same time period where Darth Maul was also hunting Kenobi?
That would actually happen afterwards, because
afterwards
there is some rebel stuff.
That was an older Kenobi. You're correct. You're correct.
Because the best way to gauge a timeline is Ezra is the same age as Luke and Leia, because he says he was born on Empire Day. Yeah, and just to give you a gauge of timeline, so it's actually like, I think they're supposed to be like 5 years before A New Hope. Yeah, there's the Inquisitor thing that's up in the air. Yeah, that's like, they killed the Grand Inquisitor, and everybody's like, wait a minute, he's still supposed to be alive. Yeah. Nobody's getting too mad, because everybody's kind of like, I can't see how Dave Filoni would just let that slide, even though he's not overwhelming it directly. Yeah. And I was making a joke with Bob, like, well, if somebody did mess up, they're going to slap together some end credit sequence with him in a back of tank, because he's not supposed to be. He's alive in Rebels.
Yeah, he's not supposed to die. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets killed by like Kanan in a lightsaber fight, but it's almost like, I don't know if I could almost forgive the mistake because everything else going on, but it seems like you've been working so hard not to make mistakes like that.
Yeah, to do something kind of careless like that.
Yeah, I can't. Like, I would assume if you get a character, the first questions you'd ask is does he die?
Yeah,
when does he die?
How long do they stick around?
Yeah, what's the time frame? I assume somebody had a job to keep track of that. Yeah. So, but who knows how that'll play? You can't really make a call on that till the end, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess with my questioning, I just want to, I don't know. At some point, I kind of want to see like Darth Maul and Darth Vader interact. I don't know if we've seen that. Even if it's just because just the history between Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, Vader, and Qui-Gon is just so, and even Palpatine, the history between them. You know what I mean? How Maul is the Maul is the trainee of Palpatine. Yeah. And he was cast to decide. He sees the new rise, which is Anakin, but he's also got this beef going on with Kenobi. And I feel like Maul would be in the shadows like, okay, I can try and get to him to get to Kenobi.
It would be cool. The only problem is when Maul fights Kenobi in Rebels, it's the first time. Well, we thought Vader met him the first time, but it really seems like, I don't know if it's possible. Maybe if they go, well, right now they're greenlit for a second series. Yeah. But the same way, you think, because he goes, no, because I remember Maul saying Kenobi's still alive. But you could, I guess anything's up in the air and can be interpreted. So it is possible.
I would like to see that.
Yeah. So
I would like to see Maul reaching to Darth Vader like, let's do this or let's do that. But then he's like, no, because Palpatine is still saying like, because then Palpatine outcasted Maul after he.
Yeah, he kind of rejected Maul.
Yeah, he rejected him.
Because he'd already had his new apprentice, Dooku. So like when Maul was trying to do his like criminal thing, what's it called? Was it Black Sun or something?
It was something along the lines of that.
Yeah, but Maul was trying to get something going on. Yeah. And then Palpatine like shut it down. Yeah. And then he's like, I have big plans for you. And then like Rebels got canceled and they never really showed what happened with that. So it was like this gray area. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, they could definitely do a Maul versus Vader one shot thing. Yeah. Like if Vader gets his own series, and I think the response to this show, supposedly it's like the highest viewed Disney Plus debut ever.
Yeah. I mean, they say that every time though.
Yeah.
Literally every release, whether it's Marvel or Star Wars, every time they release it, it's, this is the new highest. This is the new highest.
Yeah, movies they always do. They say
no,
that.
Not even movies, shows too.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I know they said they greenlit Obi-Wan too.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe I got to check different sources. But that's what I've heard. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
I'd heard that too.
But if everything's rolling, and especially fans are definitely embracing Vader and Hayden. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and I think he's enjoying being embraced again.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of. I don't know. It was weird because the culture definitely kind of turned their back to him. Yeah. But then once we got certain pieces of lore and content, it kind of made us embrace him again and want to see that redemption for Hayden.
Yeah, and I think this will do it because there's got to be there's going to be a moment I think where he's unmasked I think that he just somehow Vader's got to. They got to fight again because we got off of episode 3, so there's 3 left. So there's going to be a rematch.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So it's 6 episodes planned for this season.
Yeah, 6 episodes. So it's
We're
coming
already
on
4 through.
Yeah, so this one right here is going to be like what I gauged from it, because it seemed a little slow at first, but I think what it was really saying was Obi-Wan's kind of, I think a lot of things are said without being said.
Yeah.
I think Obi-Wan's kind of getting his focus back.
Yeah.
It's almost like I got to stop feeling sorry for myself and
have faith in the Force again.
Yeah, and focus on what's important. So, and like Leia's one of the things. And I think his bond with Leia is important too.
Yeah.
I think it just shows like, I think the resolution that's coming is I have to get over the Anakin thing. I can't do nothing about the Anakin thing.
Yeah.
I got to let it go and work on the kids and help the kids, help the children.
Yeah.
You know, I think you always assume like it's Obi-Wan and Luke, but really, like, he's still protecting Leia because of what Leia's not. I mean, he's protecting Leia because he is.
Yeah.
But in the long game, I think Obi-Wan is kind of seeing seeds of the rebellion, or seeing the possibilities of it.
Yeah.
I don't think this path is the rebels. I think maybe it becomes it, or it's a start of it or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Obi-Wan's been in a box for a while. So I think now he's outside. He goes, oh, there are good people that are still doing things. Not all hope is lost.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe that's what he's
finding his faith again, yeah.
The transition is, because he's supposed to go from this dark place to become Alec Guinness, more laid back, chill, relaxed, and not so bitter and angry. It's obviously got to be the resolution.
Yeah, it has to be.
So whatever drives Vader to be like, I believe, I told Bob, I was like, I think the Emperor's going to come in and tell Vader, like, you got to chill with this Obi-Wan thing. We got bigger fish to fry. That's kind of a thing. Because somehow Obi-Wan's got to make it back to Tatooine in one piece.
Oh, and speaking of Leia, I think they're really, because I forget which of the new prequel was it that they showed Leia had Force capabilities. That was something that they introduced in the new prequels, and I feel like they're kind of, with this show, they're kind of trying to pound that in there too, because she's not moving stuff with her mind or anything, but she definitely has this Force intuition, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was some things. There was like, and you forget about it but like an Empire, when Luke's hanging and he goes, Leia, call out to me, and like she feels Luke.
Yeah.
And it's all the same kind of stuff, like the mental stuff. So and even before, when she goes, you're my sister, she goes, somehow I always knew.
Yeah.
It's like we said about the Green Goblin thing. It's like you gave a hint of something, so they're kind of digging into it.
Yeah, now they're like trying to get more into it.
Yeah.
Like because we always just thought that she was kind of like the throwaway twin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She was just a political piece, and then Luke was the one that had the powers, so to say.
Yeah.
But now they're trying to equal it out, that like, okay, yeah, Luke might have had physical prowess, but she has some kind of mental connection, or like intuitive connection to the Force.
And even if you go to the sequel trilogy, she quit the Jedi training because she had a vision of Kylo getting killed.
Yeah.
So it has almost been consistent through the whole thing. Like she's almost like more Yoda-like, I would guess.
Yeah, yeah.
By the way, what do you think of Qui-Gon coming? Are you placing your bets?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I think they will.
Yeah, they seem
it's
to
a big piece we needed.
They seem to like mention him too many times for it not to happen.
Yeah, Qui-Gon, where are you?
And even like the refresh on the show, it's like they show all the Qui-Gon
all the
stuff.
Qui-Gon
like,
moments,
yeah.
I think it'll probably be just that like pinnacle moment of him finally putting what happened past behind him, and he'll be able to make that reconnection. Because then they mentioned in the beginning of it, I'll teach you how to connect with Qui-Gon again.
That's better than what you're saying. So my theory was, when he got kicked out of him last step by Vader, I thought when he was all burned up, that's when I thought it was gonna be like Hoth, where Obi-Wan visited Luke and Luke was down. I was like, okay, here's where Qui-Gon's definitely coming. I didn't realize what you're saying is better, because it's like, no, he's embracing the Force again.
Yeah.
Because he was embracing the Force again here.
Yeah.
Like, he did his twirl. He did his Obi-Wan twirl and everything. And he's just, he's getting back.
Yeah, and you can even kind of see it just with like Leia mentioning like, oh, you have a lightsaber, how come you don't use it? He's mentally rejecting the Force. He's rejecting the Jedi path. He feels turmoil. He feels regret about it. He feels betrayal. So he's kind of literally trying to shut himself down from that.
Yeah.
And then that's why when she asks, what does the Force feel like? He takes that moment to sit there and think and be like, it feels safe. So he's remembering like why he put his faith in that in the first place.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to move towards that. And when he finally does accept it again, that's when he'll be able to make that connection to Qui-Gon. Like, okay, Master, show me what I need to do. What do I need to do to rectify the situation? And we might get that moment for Liam Nelson.
Yeah, and I think because he thought he was like safe in his little hole with Luke and nobody was paying attention, but now that he's got to actively keep. It's almost like you actively got to be paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah, you can't just hermit away. And
it actually puts him in his better spot because when he gets that, it adds. I like when stuff adds to stuff because when he gets that message from Leia in A New Hope and he's hanging out with Luke and he's like, all right, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for.
Like I was thinking about it the other day and just like talking about it. Because Disney owns both of these properties. We always have to end up talking about Marvel and Star Wars because they own both of these properties.
Yeah.
And I would just say, like, I think I really hope that they can get it together with Star Wars because that's the one thing about Star Wars is you already have so much ground laid out that all you really have to do is fill in these in-between pieces.
Yeah.
So it's kind of frustrating to see them drop the ball the way they have been.
Star Wars or Marvel?
Star Wars.
Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about Star Wars.
Oh, it's in general.
Yeah, just in general, because they've dropped the ball with the last prequels.
The prequels.
Yeah, the last.
I thought you were talking about the movies.
No, not the prequels. The last.
The sequels. You mean
sequels that they came out with?
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Mandalorian and stuff.
No.
Oh, okay,
that's them turning a new leaf and taking a good direction. I hope to see that same direction taken.
So my whole thing is like, does Star Wars even? Could Star Wars work for movies again? Like maybe this is just the best place for it, where you have time to explore stuff.
Honestly,
because if you think about The Last Jedi, it's like, and there were so many problems, but one of the problems is like, okay, we got to get here, we got to check all the things off the list. Hey, we made a movie.
Yeah,
here's an ending. We said some dialogue. We got to have some action. Whereas a TV show, think about how a TV show, if you went from like the amount of, you still have the dialogue action ratio.
Yeah,
but it's. What is it? It's 6 45-minute shows.
Yeah.
You're like watching 3 Godfather movies. You know what I mean? It's like it's a lot, and you could have the patience to cover that ground. And maybe Star Wars, maybe that's the thing. Maybe Star Wars is a deeper story.
Exactly.
That should be told that way.
Exactly.
But the problem with Marvel is not that deep a story.
It's not, and that's the
Marvel's
issue.
Trying to,
and they're trying to be deep, and that's where they're falling short. Is because they don't know what universe to pull from. That's what I was talking about the other day. Is that you have all these different universes because these different authors got hold of the comic books and they wrote Spider-Man this way and then they wrote Spider-Man that way. So now we're seeing Marvel and they're trying to pull pieces from all these different, okay, well, in this storyline, this happened. In that storyline, this happened.
Yeah.
So we're kind of just constantly lost in this, what's going on.
Yeah.
There's no direction. To where Star Wars, you have a solid beginning, a solid end. All there is to fill in between. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, and it's even just the pacing is like you're hearing some good dialogue, you're hearing some good exposition, you're exploring something, and all of a sudden you see this dude, oh cool, or you see the spaceship, and you're like, hey, hooray! It's got a good mix of stuff.
Exactly.
I'm just curious if we'll ever see a good Star Wars movie in the theaters again.
Yeah.
Maybe the trick is it's got to be a one-shot movie with a beginning and end. Okay, I thought right off the bat, it'd be a good one, a Boba Fett one before Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Where he's badass Boba Fett.
So hear me out. I think in order for us to get another good Star Wars movie, I think we have to get away from the Skywalker saga. I think the Skywalker saga will only progress if it's keep being told in this TV format. Because we just need the filler information. But if they keep trying to pound out 2-hour movies on the Skywalker saga that we already know the general of, they don't have enough time to go into what we want to learn. You know what I mean? It's going to have to be, like we were talking off camera, the fan fiction. Nobody knows who this new Jedi is, Sith or whatever. That's going to have to bring back the Star Wars movement. We're going to have to get away from the Skywalker saga, I think.
So it's got to be just totally different. It'd almost be cool if like the movie starts and you don't even know where and when you are.
Exactly.
And you kind of just figure it out as you go.
And you just have to go.
Yeah, and then
it's a new reference. No, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then like later in the movie, all of a sudden you're like, oh, maybe there's a hint of what the timeline is or something. But that's probably the better idea. Don't even make it. Yeah, but TV's cool because TV's like, it's even like if you think about the Mandalorian time, Mandalorian's between like the second two and Obi-Wan's between the first two.
Yeah.
And it was, that's why Marvel doesn't work. I mean, sometimes it works if it's trying to tell something and like explore something.
Yeah. But it just seems so random right now. It doesn't seem like there's any kind of direction or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it took them, 10 years for us to get to Endgame.
Yeah.
So we're at the beginning of that 10 years if that's what it's going to take again.
And it kind of made Doctor Strange feel a little flat because
Yes,
it was like well, we had all this because it's like your brain keeps switching gears. It's like doing all this exploring of like WandaVision, but then when it comes to Doctor Strange, it's like wham bam boom at the end. So it's like a snake eating its own tail almost. Like it doesn't know, like it's cannibalizing itself.
Exactly.
Almost.
I feel like they almost need to switch, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the direction that they're taking with Marvel needs to be put into Star Wars, and then the direction that they're taking with Star Wars needs to be put in Marvel.
Or you just
Or
like
take similar approaches. I don't know.
Or like you say about the Netflix characters, just do simple, grounded stuff like Daredevil and things like that, and don't make it exist in that, but don't make it so connected, or be something that's going to lead into a movie. Just have like almost what they try to do in the beginning.
Yeah, and that would be exactly, and that's what they did do in the beginning until they were like, oh, you know what, we could with these. They'll have the Iron Man and then this and this, but then they'll have the Avenger movie that's supposed to tie them all in together.
Yeah,
if they would have just left them individual, it was still fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And it can be like that with Star Wars too.
Have you seen much of Andor?
No.
Like a trailer or anything?
I saw the trailer and I was kind of lost of like, okay, so what's going on here? To me, it just looked like another, was it Rogue One?
Yeah, it's the dude from Rogue One.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. I was just like, okay, more Rebel stuff, but like, what's the importance of it?
Yeah, the good question. Is this one going to be, exploring?
It's like the Rebels are cool and all, but like, what's the importance?
Why do we got to explore more of the origins of the Rebels and stuff? Unless it's going to tie into other things that we don't know. That one's going to be a wait and see thing because maybe it'll surprise us. But the only thing I was curious about if some of the stuff from Obi-Wan was going to go over to like the character that was I think it was Tala. It is Tala.
Yeah.
Like it's Tala going to the Cassian Andor thing. That are going to kind of show the rebel. But then again, how interesting is that? You know what happened.
Exactly.
Like as far as the formation of rebellion. So I don't know. Actually, some of the cool things was they show Mon Mothma in the. That's the parts that are going to be cool. Like they show Mon Mothma in the Imperial Senate. Like the as the Senate's still intact and everything.
Yeah.
So I guess when it shows you other aspects, like what's actually happening in the government, not so much the rebellion, but what's actually happening in the galaxy.
Yeah.
I guess that's stuff that could be still could be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody must have thought something of it to do it.
Yeah. Something's got to be in there.
It's also kind of curious because that was like one of the first things they talked about doing. Like that was mentioned. I think before Obi-Wan or everything, or they had like shots from it, like
really,
visuals of it. They did shows. I do remember seeing something like seeing a scrapyard with old like Clone Wars ships in it. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Kind of see anything that shows a transition is pretty cool. I guess like not of the rebellion itself, but like the galaxy.
I will say Andor looks visually better than Obi-Wan just from that trailer. I was kind of a little let down on the visuals for Obi-Wan.
Yeah, it is a little flat.
Yeah.
It is a little bit of an empty set.
Yeah.
And
especially coming off of the Mandalorian.
Yeah, they had
the Mandalorian, they used that new technology that blended everything so well. Here, you literally can see when it's just a green screen flat drop.
Yeah, it's just, but even like the town where Obi-Wan and Vader fought, it was kind of cool because it made it a little more tense, but it was also like, it's like you have the technology to just... I don't know, maybe it was the setting or something.
I'm not sure. That or their budget. Maybe Ewan was just too much.
Yeah. You know what they are doing, though, is they're in the Mustafar system still.
Yeah.
So Mustafar isn't just like, hey, we'll show it to you once. Could they possibly duel again at Mustafar?
That'd be nice.
I mean, that'd be...
Even just that battle of, like, Vader, like, no, you're going to feel what I felt and set the ground on fire and then, like... drug him into it.
Oh, those moments. Yeah,
that was a really good moment. He's like, you're going to feel what I felt.
Yeah. And it was, just, he said everything just perfect enough.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan's like shock and dealing with it. Like, oh my God. But I
thinking like, is this it?
Yeah. And also like, oh my God, what did I do to this guy? Like, what have you become? Like very simple things. And I don't know if he's going to make another appeal to him or he's just going to get over it and be like, all right, I got to get done with this Vader thing and just worry about these. But I have to also wake up because I'm needed.
Yeah.
Like I need to go face this. I need to be ready to face the threat and help these kids.
Yeah. So I think Tala's going to help with that.
Yeah.
I think she'll have a little bit of hand of helping him kind of step up.
Yeah. She's really like into like what's going on with him. And you know what? I'm realizing it as I'm saying it to you because she knows she's been pushing Jedi, through.
Yeah.
Through like the underground Jedi Railroad.
Yeah.
But she knows. I mean, obviously he's a big name, and she's mentioned him before. So it's like, hey, you got to move past some of this stuff, which I think that's the whole struggle with Obi-Wan. Because when he came to that first Jedi, he's like, we lost, it's over.
Yeah.
And he just gave up.
He gave up, and the other guys were just like, no, you're Obi-Wan. Like, they still have hope. They still have faith in him. Like, if anyone's going to lead us through it, it's you.
Yeah, I think this is going to be where he finds himself and becomes Alec Guinness. What do you think about Ravo? Do you think she's one of the Padawans from the beginning? That's kind of the theory we're going with.
I didn't think about that.
In the first episode where they show the Padawans in Order 66, they show another view.
Yeah.
So one of them looked like her.
Yeah.
Like had her hair braided the same way and everything.
I didn't catch that. That's possible.
Yeah, it's because like it was very like specific scene. Like why are you showing it? And
then that could make sense of why when he finds the Jedi tomb and you see the same little Padawan from that beginning.
Was it the one from the beginning?
I believe so. Yeah.
But it's also like because she's very. There's a lot of things going on with her because she's kind of driven in one point, like she's power driven.
Yeah.
But there's moments. There's been a couple.
Yeah.
Where she's a little taken aback by what's going on, like what Vader does. Like she even struggled with torturing Leia.
Yeah.
Like
you can see it. Yeah.
She didn't want to do it. She's like, you give me no choice here.
Yeah.
So but then sometimes she's very lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. You can definitely tell she's lost.
Yeah.
Like she's got something to prove, but I don't think she knows exactly what it is she's trying to prove.
Yeah, I think
she thinks that it's through Obi-Wan that,
Yeah, I think she was failed. She felt failed or abandoned by the Jedi.
Yeah.
And then she just because the other Inquisitors are treating her like an outsider.
Yeah, yeah. Like, she's something adopted.
We found you. Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely something adopted.
Yeah, so it's curious, like, does she have her moment that's like where she redeems herself or switches sides or
now are the Inquisitors so the other 3 Inquisitors, they seem to like be a certain species. Are the Inquisitors a certain species and then some others were adopted from regular Jedi? Because I know they were saying like some of the Jedi turned and became Inquisitors.
I don't think they all have to be the same species.
But that certain troop happens to be. Because the Grand Inquisitor and then the one with the dome helmet, they seem to be like similar species.
See, I thought that was just his head. Like because I know him from the cartoons, and I thought his head was just shaped like that. So maybe
he just had a spaceship
Meanwhile,
head.
that's Wong.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get that.
Yeah,
I was like, that's Wong. Yeah. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, but they all are kind of an alien thing, but it's never been that way in Star Wars where it was like aliens and humans. I never feel like it was very like
faction based kind of.
Yeah, it was never like like Han and Chewie hang out. There was no like here's an alien, here's a person. Like Greedo was friends with young Anakin and things like that. I don't think the outsider. I think the outsider refers to the Jedi part.
That she came from being a Jedi or a Padawan.
Yeah, but then it's a kind of a broad brush because Obi-Wan says like some of them used to be Jedi.
Yeah.
So if that's the requisite, how does that make her any different?
That make her specifically?
Why is something wrong with her?
If it's normal for old Jedi to become one, yeah.
So Obi-Wan's on the run.
Mm-hmm.
Vader's on the tail. 2 episodes to go.
Yeah.
So
2 episodes ago, she slipped that tracker into Lola.
Yeah. So there's definitely be a confrontation. Well, I mean, there's definitely one more fight. So is it next episode or is it
The finale.
It's got to be the finale.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be. I'm still thinking there's going to be Qui-Gon.
So then maybe not finale, or because I feel like that'd be a lot to push into one episode to have one more epic fight and a Qui-Gon reveal.
Yeah, maybe Qui-Gon. I just can't see what's the breakthrough he has with the Force, but maybe that's it. Maybe him holding the hands with Leia and all that kind of scene, plus him showing he's back, badass and everything.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna have that moment of clarity. That's what it is. I think he's gonna have that moment of clarity. He's gonna start his meditation, try to do the communing again.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna get that Liam Neeson scene that everybody's gonna flip out about.
Yeah.
You're gonna get some action building up with whatever the next phase is, and then your final battle with Vader.
Yeah.
And then the resolution of what puts the chess pieces into place for these 2 characters.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to see. I'd like to get something as cool as Vader is, and they're doing a great job with Vader. I want to see that one like insightful Anakin something. Like something he needs to say to Obi-Wan or like express to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like, just
how he felt, how he feels, and why he ultimately chose, or like,
Yeah.
I understand.
Dave Filoni once said something about I keep going back to that scene because it's very pivotal when Ahsoka sees Anakin with his mask half as Vader.
Yeah.
And Dave Filoni said something like, I didn't want to show a glimpse of the good side because you can't rob that from Luke. It's very important that Luke's the one that does that. But it doesn't mean turning good, but I still think like expose a little bit of Anakin, some vulnerability from Anakin.
That's
and
right,
Obi-Wan.
vulnerability.
That's something I want to see because that's what part of the more you put them together, the more complex you make Vader, and I think that's what makes Vader cooler.
Yeah,
and it makes it carry on for both.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's definitely what made Vader cooler.
Yeah,
and I would just say that as like a new gen Star Wars fan.
Yeah,
because like before he was just like that big bad, but to see that complexity of like he is somebody that's torn and is pulled a little bit from the light at times, or can remember the connections and the love that he had for certain people. Yeah. Now even that they're doing that now, that kind of makes more sense of why in the end he chose to turn on Palpatine and save Luke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if now we're going through this time period where he knows Ben or Obi-Wan was watching over Luke and everything.
Yeah, it's a lot he could put together in his own head, even when he says Obi-Wan was wise to hide from all that stuff.
Yeah.
Being that we're putting this together, I think the story is being told right.
Exactly.
So with all its flaws aside, it's okay. We can forgive that.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely along for a ride. So we'll do it again next week. Khiim, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, no problem.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Take care, guys.